Being home alone is supposed to feel peaceful. No noise, no interruptions, just quiet. But tonight's stories prove that silence can be the most dangerous thing of all. These aren't haunted houses or urban legends. These are real moments when people thought they were safe inside their own homes, until something reminded them they weren't as alone as they believed. Doors locked, lights on, heart racing. If you've ever felt that uneasy chill when the house gets too quiet, stay with us. These Home Alone horror stories don't start with screams. They start with doubt, and they don't let go easily. I wasn't supposed to feel scared being home alone. I was 26, living in a quiet Midwest suburb, doors locked, alarm armed. But that night, the house felt wrong, like it was holding its breath. It was just after 11 p.m. Rain tapping softly against the windows, TV murmuring in the background. When I heard it, footsteps, not outside, inside, slow, careful, moving across the hardwood upstairs. I muted the TV, listening hard. The steps stopped. My heart thumped so loud I was sure whoever it was could hear it too. Probably the house settling, I whispered, trying to sound normal. But my stomach tightened when the sound started again. One step, then another. Too deliberate, too heavy. I grabbed my phone, checking the alarm app, still armed. No alerts, no breaches. That's when I heard my bedroom door upstairs creak open. I hadn't been up there since dinner. I stood frozen in the living room, staring at the dark hallway like it might stare back. "Hello?" I called out, hating how small my voice sounded. No answer, just the soft, unmistakable sound of someone shifting their weight above me. I texted my neighbor, asking if they were home. No reply. The rain outside picked up, thunder rolling low, and suddenly the footsteps started again, this time heading toward the stairs. My chest tightened. I backed toward the front door, keys shaking in my hand. When the sound stopped halfway down, silence flooded the house. And then, from directly above me, I heard someone breathe, slow, steady, patient, like they were waiting for me to decide whether to run or stay. I stood there, barely breathing, every muscle locked, listening to that slow inhale and exhale above me. When the step creaked again, one stair lower this time, I backed up until my shoulders hit the front door, fingers fumbling for the deadbolt. When my phone buzzed, an alarm app notification, motion detected, upstairs hallway, my blood ran cold. The system was armed. That meant whatever was moving up there wasn't supposed to exist. I raised the phone, thumb hovering over the panic button, when a soft sound drifted down the stairs, fabric brushing the railing, someone moving carefully like they didn't want the house to give them away. "I know you're there," a voice said, low and close, not shouting, not angry, confident. I nearly dropped my phone. "You left the TV on." My mind raced. They knew I was downstairs. They knew I was awake. I slammed the panic button. The alarm shrieked to life, lights flashing red, the sound filling every corner of the house. For a split second, I felt relief until the footsteps sped up, heavy, fast, coming down the stairs now. No more hiding. I yanked the door open, rain pouring in as I stumbled onto the porch, slipping on wet concrete, heart pounding so hard it hurt. Behind me, through the screaming alarm, I heard it. Another set of footsteps, stopping just inside the doorway. Not chasing, waiting. I turned just long enough to see a shape standing in my living room, head tilted, watching me like I'd ruined something important. The alarm kept blaring as I ran into the night, barefoot and shaking, knowing one thing for sure. Whatever had been inside my house hadn't been surprised I was home alone. It had been counting on it. I didn't stop running until a neighbor's porch light flicked on and the alarm's echo finally died behind me. Lungs burning as I collapsed against the cold siding, shaking so hard my teeth rattled. Police arrived fast, lights washing the house in red and blue, cleared every room, every closet, every crawl space. Nothing. No broken locks, no forced entry. Just my TV still glowing and the front door wide open. An officer walked me back inside, and that's when we saw it on the stairs. Muddy footprints, size 11, stopping 2 steps from the bottom, toes pointed toward the living room, like whoever made them decided not to come any farther. My heart sank. They dusted, searched, shrugged. Probably tracked in earlier, someone said, but I knew better. Later, after the house went quiet again, an officer handed me my phone. "Alarm logs," he said. I scrolled. Motion detected. Upstairs hallway, stairwell, living room. Timestamps stacked minutes before I ran. Then one more entry I hadn't seen. System disarmed. I looked up. I didn't disarm it. The officer frowned. Happens sometimes. They left me with a report number and a house that felt smaller than before. I didn't sleep. Around 3:40 a.m., the TV clicked off by itself. Then from the hallway came a soft sound, fabric brushing drywall, followed by a careful step, not running, not hiding, like someone checking if I was awake. My phone buzzed with a new alert. Front door locked. I hadn't touched it. I stared at the dark hall, pulse roaring in my ears, when a breath drifted close, warm against my neck. "You weren't supposed to leave," a voice said, almost kind. I bolted, screaming into the night again, never going back. The house sold quick, new family moved in, and sometimes, when I pass that street, I swear I hear two sets of footsteps, one going up the stairs and one waiting at the bottom. If that story made you check the room you're in right now, stay with us. More Home Alone horror stories are coming, and they don't get easier to sit through. I was home alone that night, the kind of quiet that feels normal until you start noticing it. The hum of the fridge, the soft glow of the TV, rain tapping against the windows like fingers testing the glass. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. Unknown caller. I ignored it. Spam calls were common. 5 seconds passed. It rang again. Same number. Annoyed, I picked up. Hello? No response. Just breathing. Slow, steady, intentional, like someone standing too close to the mic. "Hello?" I said again. The call dropped. Before I could move, my phone vibrated with a voicemail alert. My stomach tightened. I hadn't even ended the call properly. I pressed play. "You shouldn't have answered," a man said, voice calm and confident, like he wasn't worried about being traced. My throat went dry. I checked my call history. Nothing. No missed calls. No voicemail listed. But the message kept playing. People feel safest when they're alone. I stood slowly, eyes drifting toward the dark hallway leading to the kitchen. "Who is this?" I asked, louder now. The voicemail ended. My phone screen went black. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, subtle scrape. A chair shifted softly on tile. My heart slammed against my ribs. I hadn't moved. The TV hadn't paused. A sound came from behind me. My phone lit up again. Unknown caller. I didn't answer. The ringing stopped on its own. Another voicemail appeared instantly, hands shaking. I pressed play. "I told you not to answer," the voice said. "Now stay still." A cold draft brushed my neck, carrying the faint smell of rain and something older, and I realized with a sinking certainty the call wasn't coming through my phone anymore. I stayed frozen where I was, heart hammering so hard it felt like it might give me away, because the moment I shifted even slightly, the floor behind me creaked in response, slow, intentional, like someone answering a question I hadn't asked out loud. "Where are you?" I whispered, my throat tight. The reply didn't come from the hallway or the kitchen. It came through my phone. Static crackles. The screen lit up by itself. "Call connected." "Close enough," the man said calmly, like distance didn't matter. I turned, staring into the dark hallway, seeing nothing but shadows stretching too far. "You're not real," I muttered, backing toward the front door, fingers brushing the cold metal of the lock. A soft chuckle came through the speaker. "That's what everyone says at first." My stomach dropped. "Everyone?" I asked. The line crackled. "You're never the first," he said. The lights flickered once, then steadied, and from the kitchen came the faint sound of a drawer sliding open, silverware shifting against itself. My pulse spiked. I grabbed the deadbolt and twisted hard. It wouldn't move. My phone buzzed again. Front door locked. "I didn't do that," I whispered. The man's voice lowered closer now, like he was leaning in. "You didn't." Footsteps crossed the tile behind me, slow, unhurried, stopping close enough that I could feel warmth at my back, smell damp air mixed with something metallic. "Don't turn around," he said gently. People regret that part the most. My eyes burned as panic crept in. "What do you want from me?" I asked. For a moment, there was nothing but soft breathing on the line. Then, to finish the call, my phone slipped from my hand and hit the floor, screen still glowing. In the dark reflection, I saw movement that wasn't mine. A tall shape unfolding behind me, shoulders bending wrong, head tilting too far. I screamed and threw myself sideways as something rushed past, air tearing like cloth. The front door flew open on its own, night air crashing in. I ran barefoot into the street, screaming until porch lights snapped on and neighbors spilled out. Police searched the house top to bottom. No forced entry, no fingerprints, no signs of anyone else. An officer picked up my phone from the living room. "You know this call's still connected, right?" I snatched it back. The screen went dark. Hours later, alone in a motel, my phone vibrated once. Missed call, unknown. A voicemail followed instantly. "You ran out before I could say goodbye." I always loved having the house to myself, especially on weeknights when the neighborhood went dead quiet. No kids outside, no TVs blaring, just the soft hum of the AC and the tick of the wall clock keeping me company. My parents were out of town, and I was stretched out on the couch scrolling my phone when I heard it, a soft thump from upstairs. I frowned, telling myself it was just the house settling. Old places make noise, right? Still, I muted my phone and listened. Silence, too clean. I stood up, heart beating a little faster than before, and called out, "Dad?" My voice sounded small in the empty living room. No answer. I grabbed the remote and flicked the TV back on, trying to shake the feeling crawling up my spine. 10 minutes passed. Then I heard it again, this time clearer. Footsteps, slow, careful, coming from the hallway above me. I froze. My mouth went dry as I stared at the staircase, shadows pooling between the railings like something was hiding there. "Hello?" I called, forcing my voice to stay steady. The footsteps stopped instantly. That's when I knew this wasn't the house. My phone buzzed in my hand, making me flinch hard. A text from my mom. "We forgot to mention, did you lock all the doors?" My stomach dropped. I typed back fast, "Yeah." "Why?" 3 dots disappeared. Then her reply came through, "Because the back door lock's been sticking again." I slowly turned my head toward the kitchen, toward the back hallway, and that's when I saw it. The back door standing open just an inch, moonlight slicing across the floor. From upstairs, something shifted again, closer now, like whoever it was had leaned over the railing, and then, barely louder than a breath, a voice whispered from above, "You shouldn't have answered." My legs felt locked in place as I stared up the stairs, my pulse pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears, every instinct screaming at me to run, but my body refusing to move. The whisper echoed again, closer this time, like whoever it was knew exactly where I stood. I backed up slowly, my heel bumping into the coffee table, the sound way too loud in the silence. Upstairs, the floorboards creaked, followed by a soft, dragging noise, like someone shifting their weight just out of sight. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, my hands shaking so bad I almost dropped it. But before the call could connect, lights upstairs clicked on one by one. The hallway light, the bedroom light, the bathroom. Each switch flipped with deliberate patience. A shape appeared at the top of the stairs. Just a silhouette at first, tall and unmoving, its head tilted at an unnatural angle. "I told you," the voice said again, no longer whispering, "You shouldn't have answered." I bolted. I didn't think, didn't plan, I just ran straight for the front door, my socks slipping on the hardwood as something behind me started moving fast. Too fast. I heard footsteps pounding down the stairs, heavy and uneven like they weren't used to running. I fumbled with the lock, my fingers numb, and felt hot breath brush the back of my neck. The door finally flew open and I spilled onto the porch, screaming for help as I sprinted across the lawn. Porch lights snapped on up and down the street, and the sound behind me stopped instantly. When the cops arrived minutes later, they swept the house top to bottom. No signs of forced entry, no one inside. But one officer paused at the top of the stairs and called me over. In my parents' bedroom, the closet door was open, and inside, pressed deep into the carpet, were fresh footprints. Bare feet facing outward like someone had been standing there, watching the hallway, waiting. That night changed how I feel about being alone, because sometimes you're not hearing things. Sometimes the house isn't settling. Sometimes someone's been there the whole time. If this story gave you chills, tap like, subscribe for more real feeling horror, and let me know in the comments, what would you have done if you were home alone that night?